Howdy, 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 and welcome to episode 26 of the DirtInfo podcast. Carter, 26 is kind of important. That's like we've made a half a year's worth of episodes.
That
That's kind of a big milestone.
also means we've done half a year of begging and pleading people to like and subscribe to the podcast and comment all the fun stuff.
All the
Uh,
fun stuff. You'd think we'd have more by now, honestly. But we'll keep trying. If one thing's for sure, we've shown we're persistent at 26 episodes in. So but anyway, that means our next segment, I got it together there, is Stylin and Profilin. So let's have you start first.
I got a Brandon Shepherd shirt on
Ooh,
from I bought it at the Dome the first year he won it. I think that was 2 years ago. I bought
okay.
it after he won. I hopped on the bandwagon, and as I was walking out, I bought it at his merch stand. So
Oh, they were smart. They still had it
they
open.
stayed open. Yep.
A lot of those shops closed down.
There was a few
But
people doing the same as me, so it was a smart move by them.
smart move by them. Heck yeah, Colton bought some B-Shep merch when we were there as well. So I guess it's a good place to get Brandon Shepard merch is the Dome. Right on. Well, I can't recall if I've worn this shirt on this episode or on this on the podcast yet, but I decided I would wing it and wear it again. So anyway, this is last year's Shane Sabraski shirt. Important because it's the first one with a late model on it. So it's kind of a cool shirt
Is
in
it
that
just a
respect.
late model or the super stock and mod on it too?
Just the mod. So no super
Just
stock.
just a late model or
Just the late model and mod. No
oh
super
okay.
stock.
Oh,
Yep.
he's discriminating against the super
Yeah,
stock.
yeah, it didn't make the cut. I'll be honest, a shame on me. I haven't noticed, I haven't seen this year's merch yet. So I don't know if he's got all three cars on it or not. Um, but I should look into that. Anyway, so also funny story. So all of a sudden, Colton, because most of my stuff hang dries and hangs down in the basement. So my youngest son Colton's been picking out shirts, and today he was kind of excited. He ran me one up. He's like, "This is the one you're wearing for today's episode." So I think that's kind of cool too. I thought that was noteworthy.
I will say
So
I've also ran into the issue of did I wear this shirt or not, and I have way more to pick from, and I'm still like, did I wear this one already?
yeah. Well, you have favorites. At least I do. I
Yeah,
have a lot
no,
of shirts, and there's some that I just wear a heck of a lot more than
that's how
other
I am.
ones.
I have a few that will get worn like once a week, and I've tried to like change it up, but then sometimes I just wake up and I just see it like right in the right. I always put it like the same towards the front, so I just see it right away, and then I grab it. And I just always end up wearing it like once a week, so that'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. So I decided to roll the dice. I may or may not have worn it. I definitely don't think I've done it for styling and profiling, but don't be surprised if you see it again eventually.
Yeah, the segment could technically only go so long, so
uh, well, we keep going to races, so there's a chance we can slowly add more and more. But um, anyway, so what did you do this weekend? You actually went racing, so we'll have you start out. Where'd you go racing?
yeah, so Friday, if you can believe it, Friday got rained out again.
That's
Uh,
a very consistent theme.
I think not counting Talladega in Wisconsin, there has been like it's like one Friday race a month. Like in April, there was I think one track that ran at least near me that ran on
Yeah.
Friday, and then so far in May, there's been one weekend where Friday tracks were able to run. Every other week, it's just rain out. So
That's
hopefully that stops ending. I looked at the forecast and it shows raindrops on the little cloud symbol for Friday again.
uh,
So
well, there's still
hopefully it goes
time.
away. It's still time, yes.
Yeah.
Um, and then after, since they rained out, I watched a bunch of stuff on Flow and Dirt Vision, which we'll talk about. But there's one thing I watched. It was NARC, which is the 410 Sprint Car Series in
Mhm.
California. Um, and Friday they were at Ocean Speedway. Honestly, don't remember much about it, but I just want to touch on this. On Saturday, since they run in California, I get
They're
home
always
from
on
races
super late.
Saturday. Exactly. I can watch it at like 11:30 midnight and it's only
Yeah.
10 o'clock there. But they had a class called Police and Pursuit, I believe is the name. And from my understanding, it is like local law enforcement get in like a it's not Crown, they're not all Crown Vics, but some
Okay.
type of race car. Um, and a few of them look like cop cars, some of them don't as much. But right as I turned it on, they were like 2 or 3 wide going into turn 2, and one guy pushed up the track, and like 3 cop cars that were race cars went into the wall. Like the guy collided, he hit the wall. His lights were the police lights on top were
I
still
was
running.
I was gonna ask, is this the one with the police lights
Yes,
on
this
top?
is the
I
one with the
saw this.
police lights.
I saw that. That was
And
crazy. I didn't actually. All I did was see the clip for like 5 seconds and saw them all crash.
yeah,
But then turns out this is what
and
it
actually,
was.
this was Friday. This was at Ocean. Saturday, they're at
Okay.
Thunderbowl, and Tanner Holmes won, who I know you're a fan of at
Oh yeah.
Thunderbowl. He won the first one. They had like a split feature deal where they inverted him for the second feature. He
Okay.
actually, Tanner Holmes, I don't remember who was first and second, but it was a kind of a crazy race. First and second like took each other out with like 5 to go or something, and Tanner Holmes just like got gifted the win. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, you'll take what you can get,
Yeah.
but
See, it's better to be lucky than good sometimes, right? or I get, what do they say? Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. So, right?
I do like. I wish Flo would have more California stuff. I get why they don't, but it's so nice for me when I get home from a race and it's like, oh, I still got 2 or 3 races I can turn on. Um,
Yeah.
but
I'm
anyways, oh, go
I
ahead.
I was gonna say I turned 40 last October. I am struggling to make it to the end of Lucas shows right now. So I'm not there with you. That's all you.
For the younger crowd would love the California races.
Fair enough.
But back to the tracks I was at. Saturday, Plymouth had IRA, so I wasn't there. And so I went to 141. They had, we guessed, I think I guessed 197 was my guess last week for their car
Hmm.
count. They had 180, unfortunately.
Oh.
I thought with all the Friday tracks rating out, they would have maybe got more, but I mean, it's still 180 cars, so
Yeah, we're not complaining about the car
no.
count. I'm saying ooh because Carter was wrong. Not that it's a bad number of cars. That's a boatload of cars.
And then Sunday, I went to Angel Park, and they had IRA and the Badger Midgets, and there was a couple surprise entrants. One was Bill Baylog, who's with the World of Outlaws, and the way their rules are, they can only use like only race 4 non-outlaw
Hmm.
races. There might be like some couple shows might be kind of allowed in there. Like I know, during the Knoxville Nationals, they have that front row challenge at
Yep.
Oskaloosa. Like I think they're allowed to run that. It doesn't get count towards it. But anyways, Baylog used one of his 4 though to come. They were supposed to be in Canada Sunday. They rained out that Sunday show like Saturday morning or something. So he made the drive all the way from Canada to Wisconsin and showed up at Angel Park on Sunday. And he didn't win because the other surprise guy that was there was Tim Schafer. Uh, Steel City Outlaws, his nickname from
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, and he got by him with like 6 to go. Baylog was pretty much checked out, and then caution came out, and then Schaefer found something on the top that Baylog did not know was there, and he drove right past him.
One of those tops up here, buddy moments.
Yep, he drove right on by him. So that was I wasn't expecting to see Bill Baylog and Tim Schaefer battling for a win at an IRA show this year, so that was pretty cool.
Nice surprise.
Yep.
Yeah, right on. Right on. Well, I didn't go racing. Around me, most everything was rained out, even if I'd have had the opportunity, but I didn't because of baseball. So Saturday was jam-packed. We woke up at 5:30. 5:30 in the morning because Kiddo had an 8 a.m. ball game 40 minutes away, and he had to be there 45 minutes early. So we were, we had we had to get up and get going. So that was an adventure. And then he had a game at 8, and then again at 1, and then again at 6. So we didn't even get done till 8 o'clock, and then had to drive 40 minutes back home. So it was a long, long day, but we did manage to find a little fun. So in between the first and second game, one of the moms, or the team manager is her technical title, had planned for some of the team to go to the Minnesota Vikings Museum, and that was actually really cool. Um, seeing they had like displays for all the different stadiums. So like to see stuff from the old Metropolitan Stadium and stuff like that, and then see stuff from the Dome. Like the Dome is the stadium from my childhood. That thing had been the staple. I lived in Alabama when it collapsed, which was um, just an interesting tidbit. So I don't know. Do you even remember the Dome
Yeah, I remember
collapsing?
I remember,
Okay.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
watching I was at the point where like I wasn't invested into every game, but I still kept up. And then
Okay.
right around it was right around when they moved into oh, I can't remember the name, the Gopher Stadium after they took
Oh,
down the
TCF
dome.
Bank at the
When
time.
they
Yeah.
moved into
Yeah.
there was when I was like fully invested and begged for Sunday ticket to
Okay.
watch all the games. 'Cause then if I
Oh,
missed one, I would like
so you,
I'd freak out if I couldn't see
mhm.
the game.
So you took the Blair Walsh miss
Oh,
hard.
yeah, I was in seventh or
Yeah.
eighth grade when that happened. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So I believe I was in eighth grade when 1998 happened, and so they had a display about that too. The coolest thing though was they had the 3 deep poster. I remember I had to work to get a 3 deep poster. I can't. There's something about where you could get it because I noticed they had a bunch of sponsors and stuff on the bottom, so it wasn't like available everywhere. I don't believe, or maybe it was, and I just wasn't a good kid and wasn't allowed this poster. But I worked for it, and I eventually got the dang thing and had it up on my wall for forever. So that was a total throwback to see that there, signed by Jake Reed, who's the forgotten member of 3 Deep, but
I know
Jake
Jake
Reed,
Reed.
and then Randy Moss, and then Chris Carter. I actually have a football. This is not planned at all. This is completely spontaneous. So it is going to be so hard to see. But if you see there,
Oh, you
that's
can see.
Chris.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Chris Carter. This football is, and if you look, no joke, a little bit higher up, it says to Josh. It is
Oh, yeah.
personalized to me. To Josh from Chris Carter. So this is from when I was like a super little kid. My auntie Jeannie got this for me. Actually, she was a DJ at the All American Sports Bar at the Mall of America. This is predates you. Don't try to remember any of this. But that was a place to be. She was a DJ there, so sports athletes used to go in there all the time. This is from him. I had other stuff. I had like a Mike Badano signed hat that I lost and then like tried to forge the signature again. Anyway, so the museum was cool. Needless to say, there were some interesting factoids in there. The other
Um,
the
I
yeah.
was gonna say when I saw you were there, I did look out of curiosity. I was like, how far is that from Cedar Lake? If I go to Cedar Lake, could I go there like earlier beforehand? It was only like an
Oh
hour away or something like that.
yeah.
It wasn't far. I was like, oh, that's within range. So, because
Yeah.
I want to go there and I want to tour the stadium one day. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I've been into the stadium for a game, but I wasn't able to
Okay.
tour it unfortunately that day.
All right. All right. Yeah, so we go to training camp almost every year. We've been slacking a little bit lately, but we're probably gonna restart the tradition. But um and I've seen the Hall of Fame a bunch of times, never gone. This was just an opportunity. We were in Egan anyway, so it
'Cause
was like
the museum is right where their facilities are, correct?
yeah, it's
Okay.
at their training facility. Yep.
Yeah, I
So
would love to get over there. I'd like to go to training camp too, but
yeah.
it's
Well,
5 hours away, so
maybe we'll have to plan a day.
it'd have to
I
be a
mean, you can
weekday.
crash here, yeah, but you can crash here for a night, right? Like we can air mattress or something. Anyway, we're going crazy, but and then I just want to mention real quick, my Sunday was also equally jam packed, and this is such an old guy thing. We crashed out obviously Saturday night. I fell asleep at like 10 o'clock. I was toast. So I woke up nice and early on Sunday. I managed to smoke like 5 pounds of chicken thighs to like meal prep for the summer a little bit. I made 3 weeks of breakfast burritos for the boys so we can just put those in the microwave in the morning and they can eat those. And then I also made smoked chicken and then grilled chicken legs for dinner. So like I just crushed Sunday. I just wanted to brag about that. And the boys mowed the backyard. Oh man, it was a killer dad day. So anyway. So as far as what I followed though, so over the past week we've been following some stuff too, and I do want to mention Marshalltown Flow Racing. It sat in a weird spot. We made some predictions. I nailed the stock cars. You said it as a joke, and I nailed the winners. So Jimmy Gustin was my pick, and Jimmy Gustin won, as you said at the time, the headliner.
Yeah.
He won the headliner race. So
Unfortunately, the
um,
support class ruined the track for him. Real shame.
that's what I heard. I actually saw on Facebook, they're like, we love having him here, but it takes us some time to get this
Yeah.
track where we want it again. So, but yeah, the support class put on a banger, but I apparently ruined the track in the process. They should add hobbies.
They should have.
Anyway, but Hudson O'Neal won. Neither one of us picked him. I guess he won last year too. So maybe
And
we.
they didn't have him 2 years ago, but I think it was like 3 years ago when they had him. They had him 3 times now, and he's won all
Okay.
three. So he's
We.
never lost pretty much a race there.
Okay. Well, if we pick this race again, one of us better remember that. Uh, but that was a pretty cool race. My biggest takeaway was that I nailed the stock car pick. but, but yeah.
Oh, and at
So
Marshalltown, the late model race was really good too. Like it wasn't.
it
It
was.
was Pierce led, Hudson won or led, Overton led. I think were those the only three that led? I
Uh,
believe so. Maybe
I
someone on the
think
first
so.
couple laps might have led. But it
Dustin
was
Duty charged from
yeah.
forever back.
Justin Duty was like 14th to like 5th in like 3 laps or something. Just he was
Yeah,
just hanging out on the bottom, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, it's Justin Duty
yeah,
out of nowhere.
yeah.
But yeah, but I think
It's like an
Hudson
RKO.
exactly. I think Hudson led the first part of it, and then Pierce got by, and then Overton got by Pierce, and
Mhm.
then Hudson got by Overton with like less than 10 to go, I think. It was
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're reminding me now. I believe. Yeah, I think Overton got back by when Huddy and Pierce were throwing sliders at
yeah.
each other, and he snookered them. And then yeah, that was actually a really good race. It was. So heck yeah. And then neither one of us called it, although you were closer to getting that one right than I was. You had picked Bobby to win the late models.
Oh,
I
yeah.
picked Gustin. Gustin charged from way back and was up there for a minute, and then I think he faded late as well too. So that was a cool race. There was so many guys just coming and going. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, whew, that was a good one. So, but that was a nice little preview, kind of to let us see what we were going to get at Eagle with Lucas. And I would, did you catch much of that? Did you catch Thursday or Friday?
I watched both of those days.
Okay.
I watched more of Thursday, I think. Like I just paid more attention to it. But I saw both of them.
Yeah. I thought I had to catch the highlights from Saturday, but I thought they put on some pretty banger races. So we had mentioned that a little bit last week too, that they might have gotten this event because they threw down some racing, and I feel like they delivered again.
I'd say so.
Yeah, yeah. Throughout the field, always right there. Second on back was always under protest. It felt like even if for some period of time the leader would check out, and then everything would tighten up once they got to lap traffic too. So it was just good racing all around. RTJ won 2 out of 3. He won the big money one on Saturday. He won the finale for 50,000, and then he won on Thursday. Yep. And then he wiped out and wrecked on Friday. Of course, that was the one time I put him in my dirt trap lineup, and he wipes out of the race. So
He almost did that Thursday. He jumped the cushion Thursday,
yeah,
and JD got by him, and then but
yep.
RJ was able to get right back past him. But yeah, did you know who was second Saturday? Was it JD?
JD was first. Oh, on Saturday it was JD. Yeah.
So
Yep.
them two were 1 and 2, or no, or no, never mind. JD had a second, first, and a second then,
Yep.
correct? And then
Yep.
RTJ had first, second, first.
Well, RTJ had first
Or first
even on
DNF.
Friday, and he had
Yeah,
DNF.
DNF,
Yep.
right. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep. But no, it was pretty solid all around. The one thing I kind of noticed, so we had mentioned the racing last week. Obviously just mentioned it again, but
Yep.
the racing was solid. But one thing that I thought was cool on like the feed, on my feed, was that there was a lot of like pictures and commentary about just how good the fans were. There was RTJ had made mention, I think, on like Thursday, he stayed almost an hour after signing autographs. And then I saw a picture from Saturday, and he had a line just forever. James Essex had a picture of the pits. It was just completely packed afterwards. So that's awesome. I love that not only is the racing delivering, but the event, like the atmosphere is kind of something too. I presume they'll be back again next year.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting on my list of things I want to do soon. I just love that it feels like something's building there. The racing's phenomenal. Obviously, they have tons of fan support. The car we guessed on car count and we were optimistically high and we almost nailed it. They had 37. You said 39, I said 40. But they had 37 on Thursday. I count Thursday as the number on these big shows because things are going to happen. Yeah, things are going to happen, right? But I mean, they had 37, so there's a solid car count. I could see this developing into something, and it's actually kind of cool because it's the weekend right before the Show Me, right? Because the Show Me's coming up here. That's another huge race. 10,000, 10,000, 75,000. So, I'm interested in that one.
A lot of people like seem like they dislike Lucas Oil Speedway, but for some reason, when late models are there, if depending on it's when they like put like a ton of water on it, I like, and it gets kind of rough, but I really like when it does that. Like the year RTJ won, and then remember he got like DQ'd because something broke because of how rough it was. But that track, from a fan's point of view, I thought was awesome. They were like right on the wall, like it was. I thought it was perfect. That night. But some nights too, it kind of gets just really slick and rubbers, unfortunately. But when they juice it up, I'm a big fan of it when it does that.
Yeah. When it gets real slick, that's when JD kind of dominates.
Yeah, that's when he wins, no problem.
Yep. I'm actually I'm a little excited about this show coming up. The Show Me this year. The World of Outlaws is off.
I saw Pierce's going to this.
Okay. See, I figured they were gonna pick up a few cars. Because last year they were at Ultimate, so they were way over North Carolina, and they raced one of 2 days and got rained out. But they're clear here, so it should be. They had 63 last year. I wouldn't be surprised. Should we do car count guess again just for the funsies?
72. That's my guess.
72. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna say 75. Screw it. I'm always gonna be more optimistic. I'm gonna say 75. I also love that I don't feel like this has always felt kind of like a Lucas track. Obviously, Lucas Oil Speedway, but I don't think the Outlaws are coming here very frequently.
So I don't think they're coming here at all based off the name of the racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the few and infrequent times some of these guys are going to be there. So it just adds another layer of like Bobby's coming, but how many times does he race on this track, if ever? And I know he's so good.
He's ran some like MLRA stuff in the past, but yeah, a lot of these guys probably haven't been there much. So yeah, there's a few that we don't really know how they'll do there because they just got way less starts because Lucas goes there. They have 2 trips there, I think.
I believe
a year. Yeah, because they have like isn't like the Diamond Nationals or something. They have something like that that they go to.
Yeah, they have that as well. I think that's in like a month or so. But so they go there twice. So, and I don't think the Outlaws are going to be like outgunned because it's a newish or they haven't been there as much. It's kind of cool that you don't get to see them on it very often. So it'll be an opportunity to see like what does Bobby Pierce look like on this racetrack? And also, you can never be sad when you get RTJ and Bobby Pierce in the same place. That's the matchup we all want to see. So it should be pretty cool. Speaking of the World of Outlaws, they raced this past weekend too in Pennsylvania mostly, and then 7 minutes west of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in Ohio.
Yep. So, do you remember a couple weeks back when I was talking about the Dairyland Showdown, and I said McCreadie his car sounded a little bit different, and that he might pick up a few wins here soon? Well, turns out I know something, or he was cheating like you said he was, but they didn't catch him. But anyway, he won 2 of 3. That's that caught me up by surprise. I predicted it, and I still was like, "Dang, he pulled through." But yeah, so McCreadie won Thursday at Raceway 7 for 12,000. That's definitely an Ohio track. I don't know if you caught any of
I
that.
saw, I watched that one, yes.
You listened
So
to it? Me
no,
too.
I watched it. I watched it. I was home that day, so I turned it on.
No, I know. I had it on
Oh,
too. I
I see
listened
what you're
to
saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
it. but yeah, so McCreadie was first. Winger was second. So I think he had he didn't have another top five, but I thought I saw him up there. I thought he had a decent weekend, but I'm looking here, it doesn't look like he did. But he did have a second. Shirley was third there. Friday they got rained out, which kind of screwed our predictions.
Yeah, we both had Max Blair winning that Friday.
Well, you had him Friday, I had him Saturday,
Oh,
but
did you have him Saturday?
yeah,
So it screwed my prediction. You
it
were
screwed your
wrong.
prediction. I was wrong.
We'll never know about mine.
But it screwed my prediction because I figured the second night on the track was when he was really going to put it together, and I didn't get the second night, so it really ruined both of our predictions. But Bobby Pierce won that one, and then Sunday. Oh, that was, I believe they still kept that as 30,000.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure.
yep, so big payday. And then Sunday was Bedford, and that was 20 grand, and McCreadie won again.
I
And he
caught the
kept
last 5 laps of that. He was pretty much
gone.
gone, it seemed like. Yeah, there
He
was
was
no catching
gone.
him.
Yeah, he was pretty much gone the whole race. So, but Pierce second, and then Dustin Sorensen putting a little something together, came home third. So, I didn't catch nearly as much of that as I did Lucas, but for the little bits I did catch, it looked like the leader was just always gone. McCreadie was gone
Yeah, that's how it
on
seemed.
yep. So kind of some dominating wins. I wonder if McCreadie will be at Lucas.
I could see him going there. I mean, he ran Lucas for so long, so he's got plenty of
Yeah,
laps around there. So it
right. And
wouldn't
he's on
shock me.
fire. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He needed that switch back to Longhorn, apparently.
apparently
I
it's
mean,
been
it's made
a
a
big help
world
for
of
him.
difference. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Speaking of late models, just kind of real quick, Mars ran this weekend. Friday they were at Quincy. Fager won that one, and then in the mods, Josh Harris won the mods at Quincy, and then on Saturday they were at Highland, and Shannon Babb won late models. Trevor Neville, who I think we had both sort of mentioned, we hadn't seen him winning much. Finally got one in the win column here. And then worth mentioning, Cole Falloway was second both days, so he continues to run well. I think he's their point leader.
I'm pretty
So
sure I saw that as well. Yes.
yeah, he's running pretty well. So, and then those guys go again this weekend. They got a 3-day swing this weekend. Late models only at Tri-City on Friday, and then Fairbury on Saturday is mods and late models, and then Spoon River Sunday is late models and mods. I wonder if Spoon picks anybody up. That would be interesting. Something to maybe keep an eye on too.
Oh yeah, I could see that. I
Yeah.
wonder where Turbo's gonna go because he's known to not like Lucas Oil at all.
Yeah.
Like so I could see him. I wonder if he'll just run Mars. Say screw it. I don't. It might be something else going on down south that I'm not aware of, but I could see him just hitting the Mars shows.
I could too. Although I feel like he hasn't missed a Lucas race yet, so
No, he missed. I thought he missed one. Maybe you're right, but
yeah.
I don't think he's running Lucas.
I don't think he is
I
either.
mean, I looked at his schedule not that long ago, and he had like all the Hell Tour dates on it. So
Yeah. So you might be right. I wouldn't be surprised. He's adamantly not a fan of that place.
no, yeah, he's and
So
at Fairbury 2 on Saturday they have the street stocks for 4,300. So there's
yeah,
that to
I
look
saw
for.
that.
And that was I went so last year this race they have was at least the street stock portion was Labor Day, like the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. And I was looking forward to seeing the street stocks there because all I've ever seen was mods, late models, and crate late models. So this was like a new class there,
Mhm,
and they did not
mhm.
disappoint. They were pretty good the whole feature. I think it's 43 laps too. So
Nice. That would make sense. It's 4,300 to win.
yeah, it's a
So
memorial. I can't remember who it's for, but it's a memorial race for
okay,
somebody.
right on. Well, if I get rained out or get home early, maybe I'll check that out. I'm starting to like. I shouldn't say starting. Like I'm starting to pay more attention to stock cars. I've always loved them. Like when you're at a race and they come on, you're like, all right, we're about to get some good racing. But I didn't always follow them as much, but I definitely have been lately. We talked about them a little bit last week. So that Dynamic Drivelines Dirt Duel at Stewart was last Wednesday. Dalen Murdy won the stock cars, picking up 2,000 and a drive shaft. And then the Modifieds was 1,000, and Isaac Malakote won that and a drive shaft.
Yep.
So yeah, and then Stewart apparently likes to have big shows because they've got another one coming up this weekend. I think you said Sunday, right?
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Yeah, it's called the Whole Hog 50,
Yep.
and they've got stock cars going for $3,500.
Yeah, there used to be a 5K show. I'm not sure why they dropped it, but they'll probably get, I'm assuming more than the Wednesday show. Like
Okay,
more than because I think they have like 20, 24 on the last Wednesday.
23, I think.
Yeah, I'm assuming they'll get more, pays more too.
Yeah,
But yeah, Stewart's a cool little track. It's like a quarter mile. They've had a few late model shows there. Like I think SLMR, they might have had an XR Super Series show too a few years ago. I'm pretty
you
sure
might
they
be
did.
right. You
But
might
yeah,
be right, but
I
yeah.
was supposed to go there one year and it rained. But yeah, I'd like to get there at some point, but it won't be this weekend.
But yeah, so that's another cool stock car show that I'll probably find my way over on Sunday figuring out who won that show, I bet. So and then staying on stock cars just for another minute. So the USA Ironman stock cars ran this past weekend in Missouri. So they were at US 36, and Brad Deary picked up the $1,200 win, and then they were at I-35, and Jason Minahan picked up the $1,200 win. And then those guys actually go again here this upcoming weekend. They're pairing up with USMTS on Friday at Hancock County, but you keep referring it to something else, Britt, right?
It's in Britt, Iowa. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I just know it as Britt.
I feel like I know it is Brit too because I keep reading this. And I go, I've never heard of this track before.
Yeah,
So,
it's one of those tracks where you call it like the city versus like the
yeah,
track name kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. And then they're at Winneshiek or Winneshiek. I'm gonna get that right. I always think of Iron Sheik, and I think that's the way I'm supposed to think of it. So I'm gonna reset for a second. Saturday they're at Winneshiek for $1,200 as well. So, yeah, lots of cool stock car stuff going on there. I do want to mention real quick, if you're watching this and you hear of like a street stock, like a Cruiser street stock show, or basically anything 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, the bigger the number, the more likely we are to talk about it and want to follow it. But like, if you guys want to help us out and send stuff along, we are always grateful for that, right? So fire
Yeah,
away.
some of that stuff, the street stock stuff, down south, we don't catch all of it. Most of the stuff near us we'll see at some point on Facebook or whatever. But yeah, the stuff down south, we tend to miss it. So
Yeah. And if stock cars of any sort or kind are racing for $5,000 or more, we think it's interesting and noteworthy.
yeah,
So we want to know. But yeah, I think that's more or less everything we wanted to recap for the week that passed. So looking ahead, we're both going racing this week. So I think I'm gonna who should go first?
you can go first. I'll let
All
you go
right.
ahead.
All right. So yeah, Saturday. I let me say this for sure. I'm going racing Saturday and Sunday. I can't rule out Friday yet. Like I'm getting itchy. I kind of want to do a 3-day weekend. I might end up at Ogilvie on the bookends of this weekend, but that's not set in stone. But for sure, Saturday going to Deer Creek to see the USMTS. So, kind of. I guess we'll jump into the USMTS real quick here too. But so the USMTS has a four-day swing coming up. So they're at Fayette County for 3,000 on Thursday, and then they are at Britt with the Ironman that we just mentioned on Friday for the Hobo 100K Nickel Nationals. So I like event names. That one's a little tough to get out and mildly confusing. It's 100,000 nickels, which is $5,000. So, it's a name. I like it. I prefer an event name over no event name. So I should shut up right now.
It's got to suck. I mean, I'll take 5,000, whether it's in nickels or pennies. But for the winner, it's like, oh, I got 100,000 nickels now. Great.
I hope they just get a check.
I hope they give him a massive bucket or something of nickels. Here you go. Carry this around.
Congrats. Right on. So so that's on Friday, and then Saturday, Deer Creek, which I'll be in attendance, and that's the Southern Minnesota Spring Challenge. So, oh, I should mention the Fate one on Thursday. That's Warren West Union. That's a good event name. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, I do like
one.
that. I like
Yeah,
that name.
yeah. And so, but then they're gonna close out Sunday at Mason City, and I don't recall seeing an event. Oh no, that's the Jerry Hayden Memorial. So memorials are always solid. I'm not gonna ever criticize a memorial's name. So, and that's also 5,000. So 3K to start the weekend, and then 5,000 the rest of the way through. I'm super excited for Deer Creek. I've always said that place, if it had decent cell service, would be undefeated. That would be it's the one thing it's missing. You can't like tell the world how freaking awesome and how much fun you're having while you're there. You just can't. It doesn't work.
Can you even like text there? How bad is it?
Oh no.
Yeah.
If you go out in the parking lot, you can text a little bit before it gets like really busy. So Deer Creek is one of those tracks I actually kind of dig it, where like the crowd just sort of builds and builds and builds and builds as the night goes on. There's some places where you go and it's just kind of like hopping from jump, you know? It's just like busy and you never really notice it gets busier. But Deer Creek kind of builds and builds and builds. But by the time like you're getting it towards B mains and the place is real hopping. Yeah, no, there's nothing. You stand on your thing and
Yeah.
hope for the best. Brad says on the back stretch you can, but I'm not sitting on the back stretch there. The front stretch is too cool. I love sitting in the old school, like they got the hillside benches. So the benches are just like in the hillside.
Ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And they're wooden benches. Bring my little chair and put it on so I have a back and all that. And they're nice and spread out. That's my favorite place to sit in there. I don't even really care for the stands all that much. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. USMTS is back. They've taken like a month off. If you,
I think it's pretty much been a month, hasn't it?
It has. It has been a whole month. So we haven't really had much to talk about. I mean, the points is interesting in the sense that Rodney Sanders and Jim Chisholm are tied for first. So we at least got a little bit of a battle going. The racing at Deer Creek, the racing this weekend is going to be really good. Like I think across the board, it's going to be really solid. Car counts, I am not sure what to make of them, up or down. West Union kind of struggles, so they may only get like a full field of cars. They may only get like 23, 24. Hope, fingers crossed, maybe they pick up some, because they usually run this as a Sunday at the back end of the swing, and they're doing it as a Thursday, so maybe that changes the calculus. And then I don't know, Britt should be solid-ish. Deer Creek's gonna have a bunch for sure.
Britt's kind of the unknown because that's an IMCA track, so.
It is a bit of an unknown. I know that some of the other USRA tracks in the area are off, so hoping.
Oh, they go over
maybe
there.
we can. Yeah, maybe they can pick some up. Like MTS is off, or Mississippi Thunder's off this Friday, so all the guys that would run Mississippi Thunder Deer Creek are free to go down to Britt or whatever. So who knows if they will, but always an option. So we might see some interesting guys roll through, but the car counts may not be as high as we'd like, but they'll be solid, I suspect. But anyway, Saturday's going to be a blast. I'm going to go in the pits as I always do. I'll get pictures and all that fun stuff, and I'm sure I will make an ass of myself to someone. I promise you that's going to bound to happen. And then on Sunday, I'm going to Ogilvie. Like I had mentioned, that is the Minnesota Mod Nationals. I'm a tiny bit bummed. I was really wanting to go for a 10,000 to win Midwest Mod Show, but that didn't happen.
No, that not enough entries.
Yeah. No, well, they something like 23 or 25 pre-entered.
They had 25. Yeah, they had 20 at the original deadline, and they got extended, and then 5 more people entered, and that was it. So,
yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. I wouldn't. They're still running the show. It's going to be 3 days. It just kind of flips a little bit. Instead of the Midwest Mods being the headliner, the Modifieds running for 2,500 each night becomes kind of the more of the headliner of that show. And then they just flipped the Midwest mods to 1,000 each night. I wouldn't be surprised if they still get more than
Oh,
25.
I think they will probably,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how much more, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get
especially
more.
on Sunday. I think they probably because that's like I think they have like the least like none of the local tracks besides maybe a couple are running. So
Yeah, yeah. I guess I didn't check to see if Granite's running, but I doubt it. They're probably not. Um, so yeah, Sunday will be fun either way. And Ogilvie's kind of I'm noticing a little bit kind of the Wasota track to be this year, probably in no small part because there's 100,000 to win modified race there. But the fields have been deep. I mentioned it when I went, but I've been keeping an eye on it. The fields have been very deep. There's a lot of, like, not necessarily car count, but just talent wise,
oh yeah.
there's just some of, I don't want to be like all the best guys, but a lot of the best guys, right? A lot of the best guys have been there week in and week out. Um, so it'll be fun either way. I'll enjoy Sunday. And also I hope to see Ashley there too. I might get a pic with the car. I think she's going to be there, so that's going to be cool too. But that's what I'm doing. What are you doing?
Friday, I'm going to attempt to go to Luxembourg, like normal. Probably, hopefully, won't rain. And then Saturday, I got to go to Shawano to do the stream for the Dirt Kings, and that is it's only an hour away, but I haven't been there since like 2021, I think. I don't know. It's a half mile. Not the biggest fan of half miles, and
Yeah.
141's 30 minutes closer, so I just always end up there or Plymouth if I have to go there. So
Have they gotten the track completely resurfaced?
they have new clay on it. Now they just got to get it to cooperate with them.
Okay. Okay.
And then Sunday, I am making a trip to Iowa to Benton County Speedway, or Vinton, as that's kind of how people call it. At least I call it. And they have the the 46th anniversary mod race, and I'm pretty sure it's like the 46th year of IMCA mods. I think that's what it is. Um, and that's
Sounds right.
4,600 to win, and then sport mods are 2,000, I believe they are.
Yeah.
Um, and then
Because that's also an anniversary.
for the sport mods.
Yeah, 20th anniversary.
Oh, is it? I don't think
Yeah.
that's the, is it the 20th?
Yes.
Oh, is it? I
Yes.
guess I didn't look that hard into it.
Yes.
Um, and then the mods run 46 laps and the sport mods probably run 20 then.
Probably.
Um, but yeah, I'm hoping I was supposed to go to this race last year. It rained, and then I ended up at Ogilvie at the race you're going to on Sunday.
Okay.
So hopefully this year it doesn't rain. That would be greatly preferred. If it does rain, I got a bunch of backup options, but I mean, there's tracks racing by me on Sunday. 141 has the sprint cars, and then Sturgeon Bay, which is like
Oh
40
yeah.
minutes north of me, has their weekly show, so I can go up there too if I wanted. But yeah, I'd like to be in Iowa, and along with that race, Marshalltown and Boone kind of like jumped on with it, and they added I think it's 2,000 to win for mods both nights at Marshalltown and Boone, and then a
Yep.
thousand for sport mods. Is that right?
Yep. Yep.
So they kind of made it like a little week out of it. So hopefully that maybe brings in some more travelers instead of going to just one race. They can hit like three. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. They got stock cars, sport compacts, and hobby stocks with them too at Vinton. So and I think the other places as well.
Yep. And legends.
Mod lights. They have mod lights. I think at the other places.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's they have some mod light series that I don't really know anything about. It's like the Corn Belt Flash something mod lights or something. It's like 500 to win for them, which I think is pretty good for them.
Yeah.
But those will not be at Vinton, so I couldn't tell you too many mod light drivers. Unfortunately, they're not by me.
For some reason, I have hobbies, compacts, and legends written down. So take that for what it's worth.
At where?
At Vinton.
Oh, they run Legends sometimes, but I don't think they have them this week. Um,
You might want to double check.
well, it must have changed if it did, because I looked at the flyer earlier.
Or
Unless they
maybe I
changed
saw
it.
an old flyer. I don't know.
Yeah, they had Legends last week. They're this past
Okay.
yes, past Sunday. But yeah, this I have it right here. Also running stock cars, hobby stocks, and sport compacts. So
Okay, there you go. Well, what I saw was wrong. Good thing. I was hoping you'd check and I was gonna be right just because. Oh, I bet I know what happened. I got it. I figured it out. Um, But yeah, I had it written down from where I saw it, but it probably changed since then.
But yeah,
So
that's what I'm doing this weekend. Luxembourg,
cool.
Shawano, and Benton County Speedway in Iowa. So
All right. Well, there's a chance we could each do a 3-day weekend, but I don't know. I don't know. I think yours is more likely than mine, but
I don't know. The way
stay
Fridays have
tuned.
been, mine might also only be a
No,
2-day
that's
week.
true. That is true. But so other than that, a couple things. There's only really one other thing I think I'm going to be kind of keeping my eye on the rest of this weekend, and that's so we brought it up last week, but SLMR is kicking off again, and so they got a 3-day swing too. Davenport for 3,000 on Friday.
A Kokota.
Makokata. Yep. I got it right as you said it. But yeah, Makokata. So the way I was gonna say it, I was like, that's wrong. Makokata for 3,000 on Saturday, and then Dubuque Fairgrounds for 3,000 on Sunday. Oh, also kind of like a random tidbit too. So there's in finding more about SLMR and who's running it and everything, I stumbled across this Carl Chevrolet pro late models too. And it looks like there's a tiny bit of crossover between some of the
We
guys we
talked
had
about
mentioned.
them
Yep.
last week, the Pro Late
Oh,
models.
oh, we did mention them?
Yep.
Perfect. Yep. But so they're running with USMTS on Thursday at Fayette. And so like I'm fingers crossing. Like I think Tom Berry's run some races. Tim Ward's run his mod with USMTS, and he's run this pro late models. So I'm hopeful he'll show up there. Maybe he won't, but
If
I'm just
his
saying there's a
if his
chance.
schedule is accurate, he will not be there. His
Okay,
schedule has the 3 SLMR races on it, and that's it. So
that would
for
make
Tim
sense.
Ward, I don't know about Tom Berry.
Yeah, that would actually make sense. So right, like I get it. Save. You don't need to add that extra headache. That's a lot of headache. 2 different cars, or you have to switch one over. Anyway, moving on. But so, and then they're at Independence on Saturday too. So I don't know that that's going to do much to split it. I feel like most everyone's running SLMR, and then they just kind of moonlight in this pro late model. But I don't know. More to that story of a lot of these IMCA drivers migrating over to the late model side. We'll get more evidence of that this weekend. So,
That Dubuque race is also a backup option for me. So
oh,
I drive right through Dubuque on the way to Vinton because it's like right
okay.
where I cross over. I drive through Dubuque all the time when I go to Iowa. So if although if Vinton rains out, Dubuque might not
It
be.
probably likely will too, but
Although last year when I went to Vinton, that when they got most of showing and then rained out, Dubuque got their whole showing. So who knows?
it's moving west to east. You picked the wrong track, Carter.
Yep.
No. But anyway, so I'll probably check in on them over the weekend, and we'll probably talk about it next week. So I figured worth a mention here. But other than that, I think that's all the stuff we had planned. Anything else you're going to be paying attention to next week that we missed, or this week?
I mean, some IRA stuff near me, just because I
Yeah.
won't be at them, but that's pretty much it. I don't even, they're at 141. I can't remember where they're at Saturday. But they go to 141. So if I'm not there, I'll definitely keep my eye up on it. Probably pull
Yeah.
it up on Flow while I'm at Vinton just to see what's going on there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'll be keeping my eye on over the weekend.
Right on.
Oh,
Well, I
the Indy
guess. Oh,
500s this weekend too.
is it?
Yep, this Sunday.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually I won't be watching it, but in the past, if I'm home, I'll turn it on just because it's a big race. So and Larson
Exactly.
runs in it, so I'm kind of curious to see how he
Yeah.
does. But
Yeah. And it's during the day, so even if you're
yeah,
going racing,
that's
yeah.
the plus side. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I end up at home for whatever reason and go to 141, I'll probably tune into the Indy 500. I've seen so far they've done like qualifying or practice or whatever. There's been like a lot more wrecks than normal so far. Like 2 guys have flipped already, which not that I want that to happen, but I guess that's like out of the norm for like practice. Like it's a lot more wrecks than normal. So that's
Oh,
interesting. Hopefully
yeah.
everyone was okay, it seems. So that's good.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that snuck up on me. I do it. It's just like NASCAR. I don't really know the NASCAR side schedule, but I bet you I watch a fair bit of half of them on accident, a little bit here and there.
Yep, you're just home on a Sunday and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you see like a post that NASCAR's running. It's like, oh, I guess I'll just put this on the TV or whatever. I do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I might end up catching that a little bit too. But other than that, that means it's time for
the one for the road. And I will start. We were mentioning street stock races earlier that we might not catch or whatever. And there was one we missed last week. It was, do you know was there a name to it? Do you know?
Oh, the Gilkey Memorial.
At Western Kentucky Speedway.
Yep.
And there's few guys that I heard of there. Two of them I know you heard of. Tyler Nicely and Kyle Strickler were down there. And
Yep.
Nicely ended up winning it. And then I actually heard of the race because Strickler posted on Facebook that I'll be running a street stock there. Um, and it was a 7,000 to win race, I believe. So, I mean,
Yep.
that's really good money for street stocks. But yeah, the top four was Nicely, Brandon McDowell, who unfortunately I've not heard of him, and then Jeff Parsons, who I've heard of, and then Kyle
Mhm.
Strickler. So
Yeah.
they had like 40 something street stocks, mid 40s, I believe. So,
Yeah. 45, I think it was.
yep. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Heck yeah.
those are the kind of shows. Yeah, if you see something like that, well, we probably don't see those as much. So
Yeah. But definitely let us know, because if you
yes,
haven't picked up what we're putting down, we talk, the three things we want to talk about: late models, modifieds, stock cars, and then a little bit of sprint cars here and there when we see them, right? But like, so help us out. We dig them. So I guess that means it's my turn. I do want to sort of follow up on my rushed one for the road last week. We were not prepared last week, but I had mentioned the Northern
All
All
Stars.
Stars were racing this past weekend. Circle City got rained out, so we needed to worry about the mod situation there. They just Friday got rained out. Saturday they were at
Lawrenceburg.
Lawrenceburg, that's right. Yep. And then Josh Rice won 5,000. But speaking of kind of wild wrecks, did you see the Jason Jameson
I
wreck at
did.
the? Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. That was wild.
that was wild. The cushion just snatched him. He was going
Yeah.
into one, and it just he went leaned on the cushion, and the next thing he just like that. But what I've maybe this is like dark humor, but once I knew he was okay, I kind of got a giggle because the night before Ben or DJ, I can't recall who it was, but someone quoted Jason Jameson and said, "If you don't have a cushion, you don't have a racetrack," which I agree with the sentiment, but it was just wild that the following night that happened to him. So odd coincidence, but he was okay. But it was crazy. Actually, speaking of crazy crashes, tiny tangent. Devin Fouquet, who I've mentioned a couple times on this show.
Oh, I saw this.
You saw this one? Yeah,
Yep.
he was looking for something to do on a Saturday, so he took his modified out because weren't any late model races close by, and yeah, he flipped it and it started on fire.
IMCA mod, by the way.
He calls it a crate, the crate
Yeah,
mod.
that's
So
North Central is yeah, they're like split, like half with soda, half IMCA, but the mods are IMCA. But
okay,
yeah, I saw he flipped. That was going into turn one too, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
yeah.
So he was like, wasn't he like straight up kind of, or maybe straight on his something like the car was like straight up in the air at one
Yeah,
point.
it ended up getting straight up and over, and I think it like got up into the fence and then like
Yeah,
rolled back. Yep, and then it lit on fire. So, and then I saw today that I guess that car is laid up for a while. They're going to
I can
evaluate
imagine.
if they can even fix it. So, but he was also okay. So, but yeah, so that's recapping last week's. So this week's wanting to touch on the Heartland Modified Tour. So Tanner Mullins, they raced twice this past weekend. Let me get all the facts in order. Heartland Modified Tour raced twice this weekend. They were at Salina and they were at Salina Speedway, the Kansas one. You're not the only one who gets those mixed up. I had heard somewhere that possibly Nathan and Mark Smith thought it was at the other one as well, which turns out they may be a week early. But so they were at Salina Speedway and then they were at 81 Speedway. Tanner Mullins won both races. So he's on a bit of a heater, worth mentioning. So he's won every HMT race he's entered in this year so far. So he's undefeated when he's there.
Points later.
I
Or
believe
no,
so.
is he?
Yes.
I don't know if they've ran any where he wasn't
I
there.
I haven't looked. I didn't look hard enough. I did. So the interesting thing is, I looked to see if he was the points leader of the late model series that he won a couple races in, and he's not, which blows my mind. But anyway, so he's won. He's Tanner Mullins has won his last 7 races. So starting in April 25th with Heartland at Salt City, and then he picked up 2 late model wins at Beaver County and Dodge City the first weekend in May. And then the next weekend, he like split double duty, won a late model feature on Friday, and then won with Heartland on Saturday in a mod at Lucas. And then this past weekend, he swept Heartland again. So 7 straight races, 2 different classes. The man's just on a heater.
Real quick, he's not the points leader. I guess they have 8 races. He ran 4.
Okay.
Brandon Givens is the points leader. So shout out to
Okay.
Brandon.
Heck yeah. Well, Brandon's thankful that Tanner's only run 4.
Tanner he's 18th in points, so 250 back. He's got a ways to go to catch up.
Yeah, they must not have a drop rule. But I bet those checks cash all the same. But and then I did also just want to mention too, so event names matter to me. So we've got a dual show. So we've got Heartland Modified Tour and American Racer Modified Series. They're joining up for a 2-day show. It's called the Joe Duvall Funkadelic Dirt Track and Honky Tonk Extravaganza. And if you're wondering, that's an awesome event name. It is long, it is a mouthful, but it is excellent.
I just like imagine like like when like Lucas comes off of like commercial and then like DJ's like welcome back to the Show Me 100 or whatever. Like imagine having and he probably says it 10 to 15 times a night. Like imagine if that was the event name.
Welcome back to the Joe Duvall Funkadelic Dirt Track and Honky Tonk Extravaganza. But I also kind of dig that it's split between 2 different tracks. I think that's kind of neat. But it's at Arrowhead on Friday, and then it's at Salina High. So that's at another Salina track, but this time at the High Banks on Saturday. So I think that's kind of a cool show. But anyway, they're putting something together. I obviously I follow this USRA stuff with USMTS. I know a lot of these guys, so I just think it's awesome that Tanner Mullins is down there winning, and now I'm going to watch him this weekend.
Do you know how much it is to win?
It's 2,000 a night, I believe.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yep. I was digging through it too, and that's best I could come up with 2,000. They didn't make it easy on me, so I reserve the right to be wrong, but that's what that's what I settled on. But yeah. So
can I give one quick update? I think I had a one for the road. It's like a month ago when I went to Lincoln and I caught that big midget wreck. Maybe that was, I don't know if it was one for the road or not. But the guy that was in that wreck, he ended up winning at Angel Park on Sunday, so he's all good. He's it didn't affect his driving ability.
Nope. He's healed up. The car's healed up, and he put her in victory lane. Right on.
So just wanted to add that. Forgot to add that earlier. So
I dig that. Right on. All right. Well, that's definitely everything we had then, isn't it?
Yep. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for hanging out with us this week, and we start our second half of the of our year for Carter and I next week. So we're excited for more adventures. But thanks again for watching. If you're still here, you better like, subscribe, and all the other fun stuff. So if you make it this far, comment I made it. Let's try that, Carter. Maybe that'll work. All right. We'll catch you all next week. Thanks for hanging out with us.
See ya.